5-2 direct variation. Okay, with direct variation, our tools that we're going to use is we need to know that k is our constant. That's the one that impacts x and is a direct variation on y. So find out what k is, we need to take y and divide by x. Once we know what our constant is, we'll take the formula y is equal to our constant times x. We'll take this answer and substitute it in for k. And then we have our equation that we can work with. So the instructions say, determine whether each equation represents a direct variation. If it does, find the constant variation. So we need to solve for y. We need to get y by itself. And so we divide both sides by -8. And so our negatives cancel, our 8's cancel, and like what we wanted was y is equal to -1/4 x. So yes, this is a direct variation, and our constant is -1/4. So let's take a look at number 2. So we need to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I have 4y is equal to, and I'm going to put x first, just so it's in slope-intercept form. So y is equal to -3/4 minus, x minus 5/4. And this -5/4 tells you, because you're subtracting 5/4, no, that is not a direct variation, because you cannot add or subtract. If you look up here at our original equation, nothing is being added or subtracted. We need to go through the origin, and this one does not go through the origin, and that'll make more sense as we're graphing. Number 7, suppose y varies directly with x. Write a direct variation equation that relates x and y. Then find the value of y when x is 8. Okay, so they said write a direct variation equation and then find the value of y when x equals 8. All right, so we need to start with our constant. We need to find our constant. So our constant is equal to y divided by x is 5. So I'm going to write my equation. Y is equal to, my constant is 5, x, there's my equation. Now I'm going to substitute in 8. Y is equal to 5 times 8. Y is equal to 40. So there I answered each of the questions in the directions. Okay, it says graph each direct variation equation. And so this is really the easiest graphing, because all direct variations don't have anything added or subtracted, and that's our y-intercept. So that means we start at the origin. So we're at the origin, and our slope is the 5. So my slope is 5/1. So it goes to the right 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 5, and I draw my line. Okay, on the back side of the paper, starting with number 18, for the data in each table, tell whether y varies directly with x. If it does, write an equation for the direct variation. So we have to find our constant to see if there's a direct variation. So I'm going to take y and divide by 2. And in the calculator it tells us it's a negative 1 and 25 hundredths. So I take negative 1 and 25 hundredths and I'm going to multiply it to each of my x's to see if I get the y for an answer. And in this problem I do. So yes, this is a direct variation, and we also need to write an equation. So y is equal to, my constant is negative 1 and 25 hundredths, x. So there's my equation. For number 21, suppose y varies directly with x. Write and graph a direct variation equation that relates x and y. So this is just like on the other side of the paper where we have to come up with our constant so we can write our equation. So here it says to write an equation and graph. So y is negative 6, x is 3. So 3 goes into 6 twice, so negative 2. So I write my equation, y is equal to negative 2x. So I go to graph. So the direct variation starts in the origin. My slope is negative 2 over 1, so I'm going to go to the right one. Negative 2 says to go down, and where those two meet, and then I draw my line.